is present! Cover yourself now!
That's the man! He's got forbidden books!
Where is he being taken?
To prison.
Hi everyone, welcome to Cinostalgia, a new video series here on Cinemagic TV, in which we highlight international films from years gone by that continue to entertain and resonate with audiences today. In our latest edition, we'll discuss the animated drama, The Breadwinner. My name is Liam, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Rosa. So, in Cinostalgia, we go through various categories relating to the film, including our favourite scene, our favourite line, and our favourite character. The Breadwinner was released in 2017 and was directed by Nurullah. It was based on a 2000 novel by Deborah Ellis and animated by a studio in Ireland, specifically the county of Kilkenny, known as Cartoon Saloon, who are best known for features such as Wolf Walkers and Song of the Sea. The story takes place in Kabul, the capital of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, and it revolves around an 11-year-old girl named Parvana, whose father, Nurullah, is unfairly imprisoned, leading to the former having to take extreme measures to support her family. So to give a couple of quick background details on The Breadwinner, it was co-executive produced by Angelina Jolie, and it was also co-produced by studios in Luxembourg, Canada, and Ireland. The events appear to take place in 2001, which was the final year that the Taliban held power over Afghanistan before they were overthrown by a United States-led military coalition. And The Breadwinner was nominated for Best Animated Feature at the 90th Academy Awards, which was held in 2018. So, Rosa, I'm going to start with you on initial impressions of The Breadwinner. What did you make of this animated film?
Yeah, I thought this film was brilliant. I thought the animation was beautiful, and it was quite refreshing to see a 2D animation feature film rather than a 3D animation, which is typically what you see in the cinema these days. And I just thought that the whole piece was really well put together because it focuses on such like a heavy subject matter, but it also presents that in a way that's easy to understand and easy to follow along with for the most part. And also they used the side story that the main character Parvana was saying as a creative outlet as well. So I just thought that it was beautifully put together and maintained realism whilst also exploring different creative avenues.
I think The Breadwinner is a great example of how complex political and social issues can be communicated to various demographics in regards to audiences in an engaging and visually arresting way, full of characters that you deeply root for. It's a very emotionally charged storyline, and by the end of it, you're really desperate for all these characters to pull through in their various objectives. So to jump to the category of favourite scene, Rosa, which sequence in this film really resonate with you the most?
My favourite scene in this film, and the one that stood out to me the most, is when Parvana runs into her friend Shauzia, because she realises that she's not the only girl that's had to go through drastic measures to look after her family, and she's not the only one pretending to be a boy. And I think it was such like a subtle, sweet moment, but it really kind of changes the whole direction of the film and the direction that Parvana takes, because it gives her that hope that she realizes, I can do this, I can help my family, I can save my father. And I think it's just that subtle little gentle moment really changes the trajectory of where the film goes. And I think it was just done so brilliantly.
I really love their relationship in the film. I think we see too few films about female friendship, especially when it comes to animated features. And my favourite scene actually features both of those characters as well, but it's their farewell, because I think this is the culmination of some excellent developments regarding their friendship. And it's quite a bittersweet moment that has a lot of hope in it, because there's a line about, I'll see you again in 20 years. However, there's also elements of uncertainty because of the conditions of both their lives. And I think the build of witnessing them, disguise themselves as boys to gain access to certain materials and various rights that are prohibited to women at this time makes the scene all the more rich when it comes to the emotional weight. In regards to your favourite character, Rosa, was there anybody in the film who really struck a chord with you for various reasons?
I think similarly to my favourite scene, I think Shauzia really was an important character to me, because I think she could very easily just be seen as, oh, that's just another friend that Parvana has, that is in the same situation. Like, oh, they're very similar in many ways, but I think she's so important in highlighting how young and how these children have been forced into doing this to look after their family, and it just really helps to emphasize the innocence of these young kids against the severity of the situation they live in and they're living through.
When it comes to films like this, I sort of am reluctant to kind of decide that my favorite character is the main character, because I think it's quite a lazy, easy choice when there's so many, especially an ensemble piece. But I have to go with Parvana because she's so, obviously, given that she's the main protagonist, she's so critical to the narrative, but she helps shape a lot of the other characters' decisions as well. And I love the way she takes the lessons taught by her father on board and manages to gain some ounce of independence despite being the victim of a very oppressive regime. Okay, what about your favourite line, Rosa? Any piece of dialogue that really connected with you?
Yes, I've got this written down. Sorry, I couldn't remember it. But my favourite line was, "Raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that makes the flowers grow, not thunder." I thought that line was just so powerful because it's showing that Parvana has learned. She's learned from her situation, and she's learned to love her father, and she's learned how to be independent and how to stand up for herself. But also because she lives in such a strict, regimented society, like she's faced difficulties in her life. And I just think this line was just, it's the rain that makes the flowers grow, not thunder. It just symbolizes everything that the film was trying to say in one short snippet. And I think it's just a beautiful line and it's brilliant.
A line that really stood to me along kind of how deep it is when you really look into it is from her father, Nurullah, who states, "Stories remain in our hearts even when all else is gone." And the reason why this line really connected with me was that I think it wonderfully illustrates the power of narratives and mythology, but it's contextualized through a culture that Western audiences might not be overly familiar with. It's a notion that I think can be challenged throughout the film because of how many atrocities are committed by the Taliban regime, of course, the narrative, but through Parvana telling these stories to her brother Zaki in particular, and specifically the one about the boy trying to obtain the seeds from the Elephant King. You alluded to this earlier on, Rosa. She passes on these tales that are born out of real tragedies to another generation, which demonstrates the value they have for their particular culture. So, Rosa, in terms of how this film resonates today, even more so than we've done a few years ago, what are your impressions?
I think this film is obviously very topical at the moment, but I think that the way that this film is crafted, it deals with the subject matter in an excellent way. It displays the realism and does explain in detail what is happening and why Parvana is in the world that she lives in. But it also, with mostly with the side story that she's telling her younger brother, it explains it in a way that is easier for children to relate to and for younger audiences to relate to. So I think it is a brilliant piece of work that just shows it's topical at the minute, and it also is for all audiences. More people's eyes will be drawn to this film in light of the recent news, which I think is a good thing, because this film really demonstrates the severity of that Taliban regime when they previously had dominance over the nation of Afghanistan. And the voices of their dominance really comes to fore in this film. Even though it's an animated film, as we discussed on the episode regarding Persepolis, it doesn't shy away from the brutality of this particular era and, unfortunately, today's world. The animation, I think, manages to convey these harsh realities of life under this regime, but it's also a very crucial and accessible entry point for young people who are looking to gain some sort of insight into the situation in Afghanistan. So thanks everyone for checking out this episode of Cinostalgia. We highly recommend watching The Breadwinner, and please subscribe to Cinemagic TV, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.